Hey little friends, what's goody? Let's get into this, okay? Because these are going to be channeled messages. I'm going to put my hat on. Okay, boom. All right, cool. I just needed more color, period. Guys, look at the fit, first of all. Fit, got the chocolate pants, okay? I love this shirt, y'all, because I got 95. That's my year, period. You know, you know when they start making apparel with your year on it. Okay, y'all, but anyway, let's get into the topic, okay? Because the last video I posted, that last talks and videos that I posted feels a little bit like scattered, a little bit like botched, a little bit because of how I communicate a download when it's fresh. And I will try to make sure that I like meditate on things a little bit more before I record them. But I feel like God doesn't really guide me to do that because sometimes people just have to see you be your messy self. Not saying that you should get comfortable delivering a messy message or anything like that, but I think for certain people will see you and then they'll be all like, oh, like, I don't know, they'll see you and they think you have everything and they think you are, I don't know, like people just sometimes need to see you be not so put together, and I'm totally fine with that. I think that it's really important for people to see me, you know, kind of just channeling in the moment. It's cool, and it's how it works a lot of the time when it hits the hardest. So anyways, yeah, so in my last few videos, y'all, I deal with harassment a lot, gang stalking a lot, and it's been going on for a really long time, especially from maybe like, I want to say from like maybe like middle school on up is when I first had my first like gang stalking / kind of like stalking situation. And I was actually in middle school and my mom had to kind of come in between that because I actually didn't even know what was going on. I think I was attempting to be groomed, and grooming was coming from so many different directions in my life when I was around the middle school age. But I'm letting you guys know, like I get so frustrated about it is because I've dealt with it for so long and it's so annoying. And you know, it's tricky when you're trying to defend yourself because here in California, you will go to jail if you put your hands on a person and there's not proof that someone attacked you first, you know. And if I don't have proof that someone attacked me first, and it's probable cause for me to cause them major bodily harm, because if I defend myself physically, it's gonna be major bodily harm. I'm most likely not gonna be the one in the hospital if I'm being honest. I will be the one probably in jail, which has happened before because someone knew what they were doing and they caught me in a trap, and I will never get caught in another trap of physically defending myself again, especially when it comes to like things like pocket rockets, pew-pews, and pokes, because in California, that will get you hella jail time, and I don't do jail, baby. So let's move on from that. I feel like I spoke on it loosely and I'm not gonna speak on it too much. I feel like after this, I'm never gonna speak on it again unless, you know, somebody tries to do something weird to me, okay? And then if I express myself, I'll express myself. But other than that, like, I don't have nothing to say about it, because try to hurt me if you want, baby, and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because either God's gonna be the one that protects me or I am, and either way, you're not gonna be happy with either result. But anyways, y'all, I didn't even speak on the spiritual protection all that much because obviously there's the Most High God, but there's other means of protection as well. There's the angels, there's my guides, and my guides are very swift and my guides are very scary. God moves in ways that are mysterious. Let's be for real. Sometimes we don't fully know what the reason is, but first I want to say, I don't speak on a lot of the spiritual protection that I have and how that works and all that, because I view that as being more of a closed practice. I view that as being more of a private thing for myself as an indigenous person, as a Black person, as a person with a large amount of African heritage. I want to protect and gatekeep that always, period. And that's all I will ever say about that. I will never talk about that in like a deep way, like on the internets and stuff like that. That will always be a closed practice for me personally, and that's just where I stand on that. The other thing I wanted to address is, there was something else. The other thing I wanted to address was, I think I touched on. Doop doop. Oh yeah, okay, so in the video I was questioning, like, obviously I wasn't blaming God for what happened, like, obviously, you know, if people, you know, whatever, I don't got time to look. Sometimes your brain is like a little peanut, a little puny little peanut. You need to get out more, you need to open your mind more, you need to hang out with more people, because everybody isn't functioning on your level, and you shouldn't try to make them, like, I don't know, whatever. But one thing I did want to touch on or whatever is that I feel like I'm fully aware of why the Most High, what is that? My bad, y'all. I was trying to see, like, I saw something flying in my room. Like, I see something trying to get in here, but it's not gonna get in here because the window is not open. But then I saw something, like, literally, like, there it is, huh? My bad, y'all. It looked like a mosquito. I killed it. It's dead. But, like, I don't like mosquitoes in my place. Like, if it was a gnat, I would have let it live or whatever. But, like, because that eventually would die. But, like, mosquitoes, no, baby. We don't do that. But anyways, y'all, so I figured out the reason that happened with me or whatever. The download that I received, the communication from the Most High God that I received, my guides, my angels, my ancestors, is that evil is the outsider, okay? You know, since I've been living in LA, people have, like, I've heard this phrase be thrown around of like, oh, they're an outsider. And people usually say that if you're like, if they're deep into rugs and you're not, like, you might party, do a little party rug here and there, you know, and after asking many questions, some people are into it hardcore. They spend all their money, they spend all their time, they need it, right? They'll call you an outsider for that. Maybe you don't sell vag. I've been called an outsider for that. Since I moved here, I've been called an outsider for that. Girls will try to exclude you, like, oh, we can't hang out because you don't get it type vibe. And I'm fine with that, baby. If I can't be your friend because I don't sell vag, that's cool, because I don't, what the hell? Like, girl. Anyway, yeah, so I'm using that as an example. But evil falls in that category of being an outsider. I feel like the world, like, God revealed to me yesterday, okay, that basically this realm that we live on, right, the side of the planet that we have access to is all over the place, okay? Now, the side of the world that we don't really have access to per a treaty, look it up if you don't know anything about it, that is where all the magic is. That's where all that's where the living is, that kind of, like, aligns more to something I can relate to more. Like, unfortunately, I relate, not even unfortunate, but over on that side of the planet, there's creatures of all kinds. There is advanced technology of all kinds. There is just a different way of living, and it's being kept secret and hidden from the rest of the world. And with that being said, that freedom that those people get to experience because they're already over there, right? And it's just a whole nother realm, to be honest, because there is a such thing as portals. So if you cross through a threshold or a portal and experience something completely different, where time disappears and all that good stuff, and nature's different and creatures are different and whatever, laws and all that is different, evil or chaos or time or whatever would be like an outside experience over there, right? So what I'm explaining is God sent me, right, to live in a specific neighborhood in Los Angeles. Each neighborhood that I go to, every time I'm in the neighborhood, it starts to improve more and more. By the time that I leave, it's completely transformed and it's not like it was before. So it goes from being like really like chaotic to like more organized. And I'm starting to learn and also believe that apartment lenders and like leasing offices and stuff, they know who they're accepting into certain parts of the city. Like, I tried to get many apartments before I settled on this one. I got this apartment because I was rushing to move. Like, I was rushing to move. My lease was over in my other apartment, and they really wanted me to re-sign my lease, and I'm just like, no, like, I need a bigger space, and I want to move from out of this area because I had a lot of issues with stalkers and different issues, and I just wanted a fresh place. And I kind of moved into this place very quickly because it was like, I just need to move quick, right? And this is the place that accepts me. And it was a bunch of apartments I tried to go for and that didn't accept me. And it was like a credit score thing. And I actually have a decent credit score. It just isn't like 800. Mine was like in the like mid 60s. I mean, it's the 60s, shout, in the mid 600s or whatever at the time. And people just weren't accepting me, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I got all of these different like things from the state that should help me like get a boost, and they just were not helping. Like, I just was not getting accepted in the areas that I wanted and through the leasing offices that I wanted or whatever. I didn't even know I would be going here, but whatever, child. And I don't know why, I feel like every time I would see an apartment, there was lines of people, y'all. It was chaotic. Groups of people to view one apartment. Every time I would go to look at an apartment, it was like that. Big ass group of people waiting outside. People hopping out the car. You see it here, see the apartment. You see it. It was like a fight to get this apartment. So people were obviously very competitive. Like, I'm coming with the money today. I want to sign for an apartment today. And for me, I was like ready, but I didn't have. If another person had a higher credit score and the cash up front, they were getting it. You know what I'm saying? If they were older, if they had those, some people had more in their bank account, because here in LA, sometimes you got to make 3 times as much. And at the time I didn't have that. That wasn't my situation when I moved into this apartment. So yeah, I just had to kind of go with the level that I was on. And I have a beautiful apartment. It's just in a neighborhood that's like regenerating, right? So I'm saying that, all of that to say, evil is the outsider. God is working on this place that I'm in. Not just God, but the city, the state, the energy, the new energy of the planet is working in this area. And there's all sorts of evils. But one thing I feel like they were definitely trying to balance out is just like the kind of people that are in this area. So with that being said, in the 3D, 4D, and 5, meaning on the most physical level, meaning the neighborhood, the peers, the community, law enforcement, whatever, however you want to look at that. Safety is important, okay? There's all kind of people that live near me. Old people, college students, a lot of college students, a lot of elderly people. So with that being said, nobody wants to feel like they can easily be attacked on the street, period. Okay, so God, like a week ago before this happened, I remember I was walking somewhere and I was praying before I left, and I said, God, is this a good time? Because usually I feel super comfortable going anywhere at night. I feel comfortable going anywhere. I don't feel restricted. I feel like I don't want to live my life like that. I'm not going to live my life like that. But there is a culture in LA where people try to make you feel like you need to be mindful if you go here, if you go there. Some of it is like, to me, it's only valid if you're going somewhere where there's like tweakers or trafficking or just dangers that are like, that could happen to any old person. But I feel like y'all, it really gets complicated. Like, if a guy sees like a white, like, I'm not always trying to put it on race or something like that, but if they see a different kind of person walking down the street, they're less likely to try to attack a white woman or this kind of person or that kind of person if they seem like they'd be more protected. I just feel like as a young Black woman, people try to take advantage of the fact that they think they can get away from, like, I feel like I look like an easy target to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Being a woman, being Black, being young, sometimes I appear disabled. So most times I don't, but sometimes I do. And I feel like all of those things could go, but I feel like it's also the way that I dress, to be honest, because I feel like being a Black girl, if I'm not like dressed really hip, like I'm kind of dressed right now, or like just like really nice, if I'm like dressed like very chill, people think that like, I don't know what they think, okay? I really don't know how I look to other people, to be real with y'all. Sometimes I forget how I look, and I've talked about this before. I mean that in the most serious way possible. Sometimes if I don't look at myself enough, I genuinely forget how I look. I don't know what that's called or what that means, but that's just how I feel. I feel like I'm not always fully grounded and fully inside of my body as a soul, and that's because I genuinely don't really enjoy the human experience. A lot of the time, I'm starting to enjoy it way more, y'all. Like 2 years ago, I was really struggling with like accepting the human experience. But now I'm good. I've chosen to live. I've chosen to enjoy it. So I'm saying all that to say, like I said, guys, evil is the outsider. Okay, if you go some places and it's just like a cesspool of evil and that's just like normal, okay, you might not want to go there and just like, I don't know. It really depends. Like some places I feel like I can't say that though. I've been everywhere. Like even when I first moved here, I lived near like Skid Row. I think I lived in Skid Row like for a little bit, like in a place that was like right over there. And I would get off work late at night from this salad shop that I worked at. And child, I was safe. And I just feel like God has always protected me. Like God protects babies and fools. And I probably fall in the category of like innocent or fool a lot of the time. But I truly believe that like, that was the reason. God just wanted me to know that I can go anywhere. I don't have to worry about anything. That fear is what will create something for me to basically, it's almost like a situation that happens so God can show me like, you see, like I got you. Like you wish that person was there to protect you, and lo and behold, guess what, Bookie? They were. Okay, so I want to move on from this because I feel like I'm going on with this a little long, and I might actually just like make a whole nother video because this is actually super long. Yeah, so like I was saying, like I have respect for everyone everywhere I go. I feel like I can, period. I'm the kind of person, period, where I feel like I can go anywhere. I'm gonna go anywhere, period. I'm gonna go anywhere. It's not because I think I'm the hardest thing in the world. I don't think I can beat this person and beat that person and, oh, I can disrespect whoever. No, I have full respect. If I go somewhere and the locals are like, oh, you can't be here, I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, why? If it's a dumb reason, I'm not gonna listen. If it's valid, then I'm gonna listen, but rarely is it ever valid. Like, you know what I'm saying? The earth belongs to no one, you know, and that just doesn't goes for gangs and cliques and whatever. That goes for other races. That goes for racist people. It goes for whoever, period. And yeah, people hate solid people, especially people who know how to, you know, stand their ground. People tend to not like that, especially if they don't possess that on their own. So I'm not gonna allow that to like make me live in a box. It's just not gonna happen, period. It's not gonna happen. I already always don't enjoy the human experience, so you think I'm gonna limit where I can go? No ma'am. No ma'am. No earth, I'm pretty almost sure that any earth sign you meet is gonna be the same way. It's just not happening. It's not happening. Okay, yeah, I don't need a team. I want a team to feel safe. With God on my side, I could do anything, go anywhere, succeed in any way, and always be taken care of. I always have my basic needs met. And that's what I meant when I said, oh, we don't have to pay for anything as chosen ones, as believers. What I meant by that is obviously we have to pay for things, but I'm saying most of our needs are met if it's a need that's needed. Everyone that's breathing is entitled to food, shelter. That is a basic need. Meaning my basic needs get met rather easily. I don't have to struggle with that. Especially when I ask God for help or put it in God's hands and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, God, please help me. Every time. So there is no difference when it's time to go out into the world. I don't care what trauma I've gone through. It does not write the story going forward. So that was the reason for the situation. I'm going to cut this and go to the next message. By the way, when I started this message, it was 4:35 p.m. Okay, and it is December 18th, 2025. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys so much, and I got some more downloaded messages coming your way, so hope you guys can relate to that. Love you guys.